I said, hello, Prime Minister. You seem worried. What's wrong? He said, I've got problems. So I said, oh, cry on my shoulder. I come to my Prime Minister. He said, you mustn't drink. I go to a party and I talk to a pretty girl. My wife says, you mustn't talk to her. One evening at 4 o'clock in my office, I was having tea when Mrs. Gandhi rang up. She was in Parliament House. And she rang up and said, Sam, are you very busy? And I said, Prime Minister, the Army Chief is always busy, but never too busy to talk to his Prime Minister. She said, can you come over? And I said, I'm having tea here. She said, oh, I'll give you tea. I said, I have good tea here, you'll give me muck. He said, oh, come over. So I said, okay. So I got hold of the ADC. I said, the girl wants me. Come on, get the car.
The girl wants me.
I always knew I'd talk like that. So we got into the car, went to Parliament House. She was sitting in her office, in a kidney-shaped table. She was an actress, she was sitting down like this. I walked in my breezy way. I said, hello, Prime Minister. You seem worried. What's wrong? She said, I've got problems. So I said, oh, cry on my shoulder. What are your problems? And she looked me straight in the face and said, you are my problem. So I said, now what have I done? Have I made a speech? Have I done something stupid? So I said, what have I done now? She said, everybody says you're going to take over from me. So I said, and what do you think? She says, you can't. And I said, oh, you think I'm so incompetent? I didn't mean that, Sam. You wouldn't. She has a long nose, I have a longer one. I put my nose next to her. I want to tell you, I have no intention or even a thought of getting involved in politics or taking over, as long as I command my army without interference.
Moraji Desai.
Ah, you want to know about Moraji Bhai.
You've been dying to tell that story, haven't you?
I've got 2 or 3 stories about Moraji Bhai. When I became Army Chief, Moraji Bhai was the Finance Minister in Mrs. Indira Gandhi's cabinet. Then he became Prime Minister. Mrs. Gandhi lost the election, he became Prime Minister. One day he said, I believe you drink. So I said, yes, I have. You mustn't drink. Very bad for you. So I said, Prime Minister. I come to my Prime Minister, he said, you mustn't drink. I go to a party and I talk to a pretty girl. My wife says, you mustn't talk to her. I'm a field marshal, is life worth living? He says, your wife is quite right. Drinks and pretty girls will ruin you. I said, they haven't ruined me so far. Coming out of my mouth and from everywhere else. And my Batman, Mayor Singh, got hold of the surgeon, Australian surgeon, said, my Saab is wounded. So he said, when was he wounded? He said, yesterday. Where was he wounded? In the stomach. He said, oh, can't waste my time over him because, you know, abdominal injuries, unless you deal with them straight away. But Mayor Singh said, no, my Saab is still there. So he brought him to me. The fellow looked at me, he said, what happened to you, young chap? By that time I had regained consciousness. I said, a bloody mule kicked me. So he said, oh, you got a sense of humor.
अजी सुनो रुको यहाँ तक आए हो तो सब्सक्राइब करते हुए जाना